Use our materials, feel free. They're not copyrighted.
Oh, don't worry, Kent. I will. Time for number 2, folks. Let's see what bullshit Kent can come up with today.
Organic evolution, that's the origin of life. Nobody has a clue how life can get started from non-living material.
Hey, look, guys, we're finally on biology. You're still an idiot, Kent. Really. What? Abiogenesis and evolution are two entirely different biological processes. Life didn't evolve from non-life. It came from organic materials, which, while not alive, can become alive and make up life. So you get organic materials, they make up cells, the cells make up tissue, the tissue makes up organs, the organs make up organ systems, the organ systems make up an entire living being. Is that so hard to understand? That's basic anatomy right there.
Macroevolution, that's where an animal changes into a different kind of animal. Microevolution, this is variations within the kinds. Now this one happens.
For the 10,359th time, there is no distinction between macro and microevolution. They're the same thing. The only difference between a micro walk and a macro walk is between walking to a store and walking to the North Pole.
It's true. You are nothing important. You're just a bit of protoplasm that washed up on the beach.
Not entirely, no. I mean, look at bees and ants. They're tiny little creatures, but they keep the environment in such good shape. The fact that we're screwing with the bees, they're like the entire environment may just like collapse. And bees, we can step on bees and kill them. Ugh.
Why am I here? What's the purpose of life? Well, if evolution is true, there is no purpose, so you might as well have fun. If it feels good, do it.
Oh my God, I hate you so much. That is so disgusting that you would even think that. No, that's not what it means. That's not what anything means. It means you were put on this earth for the reason of creating your own purpose. Everyone creates their own purpose. God does not give you a reason for being. God just wants to watch you play Xbox. To put it simply, from my understanding of God, God doesn't care. He put you on this earth, and He gave you gifts, and you have to use those gifts, but you don't have to if you don't want to. In the end, the decision is always yours. That's what free will means, right? You can do what you want with your life. You always create your own purpose. And the fact that you somehow think that, being evolved from monkeys justifies acting like a monkey is, well, first of all, it's completely ridiculous. All monkeys do is basically sit and eat fruit all day. Humans go around shooting each other. Vampire bats are very altruistic. They will give blood to those who need it. You see, being an animal isn't all that bad. It doesn't mean we can go around, kill, rape, maim, beat, etc., 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 etc. So stop acting like that's what it means, you shit-face, before I get really angry at you.
How many have heard of that before? They're probably not going to tell you that in order to make them fit, they shrank Africa about 40%.
I suppose you've never heard of the mapmaker's dilemma. Basically, what it says is that a spherical object, like the Earth, cannot properly be placed in a 2D area because, well, the proportions get all jumbled, and so the things closer to the equator are scrunched up, and the things farther away are stretched out. So America is longer, and Africa is smaller, when in actuality, Africa is huge!
Sir, could you tell me where the laws came from? You know, the universe is run by laws. Gravity, centrifugal force, inertia, Boyle's law, Cole's law. You eat that with potato salad? Who made the laws? And by the way, why aren't the laws still evolving? Why are the laws always so steady? The laws don't evolve. Gravity's consistent.
First of all, we have a perfect understanding of where the laws came from. Look up Alan Guth. He can tell you where the 4 fundamental forces came from and how they affect everything else. Second of all, you created a question with a false premise. Who created the laws? How about what created the laws? How come you assume it's a who created, not a what? And finally, what the hell are you going on about at the end there with your little crazy, why don't the laws evolve? Oh, I don't know, maybe because they don't have reproduction with variation? You think the laws are fucking each other on a regular basis?
He said, well, Hovind, 20 billion years ago, all the dirt in the universe was drawn into this little bitty tiny dot. And it was spinning. It spun faster and faster. And one day, boom, it exploded. Big bang. That's because of a law known as the conservation of angular momentum. You see, if a spinning object breaks apart in a frictionless environment, the fragments will always spin the same way. If the universe began as a swirling dot, big bang, like you said, shouldn't everything be spinning the same way? He said, yes. I said, would you tell me why, then, 2 and possibly 3 of the planets are spinning backwards?
If only you explained all your scientific principles the same way you explained the conservation of angular momentum. That was hilarious. And quite informative. And, for the most part, true. Sadly, you completely fucked this up, and I love it. I love how you talk about solar formation and you use that as the Big Bang. The Big Bang wasn't a fucking swirling cloud. We don't know what the singularity, what the proto-atom, if you will, was exactly like yet. We know it was infinitely dense and infinitely hot, or not infinitely, excuse me, it was incredibly dense and incredibly hot. That's about it. Second of all, the conservation of angular momentum doesn't even apply to the sun itself and the planets, therefore, because for some odd reason they were formed from different clouds of material. Mostly, kind of, they had different accretion disks. But you are right, things in the galaxy, or rather, things in the solar system do tend to rotate in one direction, and they prefer to do this. And, well, we can say, there are lots of theories about how Venus and Uranus and maybe Pluto are rotating backwards. One of them includes being hit with a giant fucking asteroid. So, yeah, they originally spun the right way, but now they're spinning backwards. And that's about it. And that's how wrong you are, liar.
Kiss. No, they got a new magic ingredient. If the frog turns to the prince quickly, we all know it's a fairy tale. But if the frog turns to the prince slowly, that's modern science.
No, the secret ingredient is neither millions and billions of years, nor is it magic. The secret ingredient is, of course, reproduction with variation. Holy shit, guess you never knew that, fucker.
I said, sir, would you look at what you're teaching your students? You are teaching your students that all the dogs in the world came from a rock.
When the bloody fuck does abiogenesis say that? It has nothing to do with rocks. It says organic compounds created RNA-ish structures and created amino acids, and eventually those became protocells. And the protocells, after a while, became the cells we know today. And even before then, they became multiple cellular organisms that continue to evolve until suddenly, and when I mean suddenly, I mean with the addition of a couple billion years, you have a whole bunch of hominids on the earth complaining about, oh, God made us. Ugh. All right, people. That's 28, like I promised. I actually wanted a suggestion for what I should do for the next video. I'm either going to talk about one of 3 things. 1, how evolution works using the program Spore. 2, the early church and how it completely screws over everybody and then steals everything they have. And when I mean that, I mean doctrines. And number 3, Scientology. Ugh, I'm afraid to do that. But I must, for it is for the good of the people. Or something. I'm beginning to sound stupid, I think. Alright, people. So, leave a post in the comments for what you want to see next. Like I said, I gotta go. Peace, love, and flowers. Mwah.